You know, one thing to think about if you want to start an off-grid lifestyle, even if it's camping on weekends, is consider switching over to solar as soon as possible. Say you do 6 days a month in the Harbor Freight generator to run a battery charger, $2.94 a gallon for no ethanol, 87 octane regular unleaded. Then add the oil cost to it. That's just over $1,000 a year if you run it like if you run it for 6 days straight, 12 months a year. Switch to a battery bank of solar power, and then you'll have free electricity after that, outside of battery maintenance. And then that's when tools like this Greenworks comes in handy. And I got 2 trees I'm going to try it out on. They're a little bigger than in the previous shootout video where I did the TimberPro, the 45cc generic Chinese chainsaw, and the Husqvarna 390 XP. I'll put that a video link in the description below so I don't have to reshoot the whole video. For one, I sold the 390 XP, which allowed me to buy this Greenworks chainsaw and the pole pruner with cash left over. So I'm just going to shoot the video portion of this and talk a little bit more in detail of the results of the TimberPro from the previous shootout video, just for a recap so you don't have to watch that whole video if you don't want to. But this will be filmed in real time, no speeding up the video, so you can see how well it works. And this will be my first use. I have not done even a branch cut, so stick around and see how good this little bugger works. It only took about 15 or so pulls to get that little Harbor Freight tailgater 2-cycle generator going, which is not bad. I haven't run it for probably for a couple of months, and it's like 36 degrees between 2 and 3 Celsius here. Now to go tackle that tree, I'm going to let the gas run through that to get the fuel stabilizer in there and to burn out some of the old gas. It was pretty much empty, so I don't have to worry much about old gas, but I'm going to let that run for a good while and go tackle a tree or two out in the back. And that tree there is much bigger than the other ones that I've been, that was used in my previous tests. And the other tree there in the corner, that way you can see it's a much straighter shot, so I'm going to turn around and get out of the wind and start work on these trees. I got the chipper right over there so I can get the brush out of the way. I got 2 full batteries. If I do 1 tree at a time, I'll be fine. I can get out of here. Otherwise, I have to walk back and gas up the gasoline saw. TimberPro struggled. The stump cut. Well, let's say that took half charge for one tree. So I should be able to do the other one. Yeah, close to 50 cuts. This gives you a better idea of the size of it. Put my foot next to it. Yeah, you're looking at probably a 10-inch cut on the stump. And so it does pretty good for being a little 40-volt unit. Yeah, just the 80-volt unit would definitely hog through that a lot better. But like I said, if it's just one tree, that's always going to be perfect. I found out the limits of the 2-amp-hour battery. I got halfway through the trunk distance-wise. Then it just quit right after that last cut. Full cut. Got halfway through here, just stopped cold. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm stuck here in the woods. Good thing I have 2 batteries. The 4-amp-hour battery would have done both of these, and probably, in the third tree for sure. So. As far as power-wise, this 40-volt lithium-ion has a lot more power than the TimberPro, a lot more, especially in the bigger cuts. But where it loses out is in cutting time. With the TimberPro, I could have done both of these on one tank, but then I'd smell like a rotten can of gas or something. Yeah, a real good idea of the cut I was making. That is rated at 14-inch, and that's every bit of a close to 12-inch cut. So, let's see how much battery is left after finishing up that tree. Oh. Half charge yet. That's because it was that was a bigger tree than that first one by maybe 2 inches, at least a full inch. So I had a lot more to cut through. Overall, pretty impressed. Yeah, that's all that's left of the brush from that first tree. Actually, where the needles are, right there, that's over a foot high, or at least a good foot. It spreads out pretty far. I counted 13 pieces of firewood, and some of those pieces are equal to the maximum we're looking at 6 to 8 4x4 timber equivalents, which is 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch nominal size. So that Greenworks will do what it says as far as cut capacity or cutting time. And after chipping this brush, this is the second tree. And the brush from that. And so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pieces of firewood. 16, 29 pieces of firewood on a charge and a half. Running the carb dry on the chipper. So yeah, I left the gas in it, so I wanted to make sure it ran good. So now the carb is dry. Next test of the Greenworks will be in the next video. We'll be see how many trees I can limb up on a single charge. And my final impressions of the initial impressions of the Greenworks versus the TimberPro CS2500 top handle. Runtime, the TimberPro absolutely smokes the Greenworks. Power-wise, Greenworks smokes the TimberPro, especially at full capacity cuts. I was doing cuts that the little TimberPro would not be able to handle physically because of the bar length. 14-inch bar versus 10-inch. Big difference. So you know that it is what it is. But power-wise, the Greenworks is good. It does have one minor issue. It seems to be a little premature on what the probably be some sort of a overload protection. It's cutting along that stops. You got to pull it out, release the button and the trigger, start it up again, and it'll cut fine again. It's just something with the overload is a little premature. So other than that, it can work around it really good. The time on this saw to do 8 to 10 inch, like an 8-inch or so tree, 8 to 10 inch at the stump, with the stump cutting it off clear at the stump, limbing the whole tree after the tree is limbed up like this one. This is like 7-foot mark. So the tree limbed up to this level. You're looking at 5 minutes to fell it, limb it up, buck it up, and cut the stump off. So total time to cut up that first tree, start to finish, about 4.5 minutes, and that was a lot bigger than the TimberPro. I would have done a smaller tree about equal size, but these are the 2 trees I need to get out of the way to make it easier to get vehicles through here. But yeah, otherwise, in the smaller trees, it takes 2 batteries to do. It will take 2 batteries to do 3 trees. 2 amp hour batteries. So if you're going to cut all day long, definitely go with the TimberPro if you're going to be cutting all day long. Especially if you have a crew behind you to chip the brush, stack firewood and all that behind you, go with the gasoline saw. If you're just doing a little bit like I am here and there, you're going to cut the wood, you know, if I had a trailer, you could put on the trailer, chip the brush and all that. If I had a power inverter in the van, I could charge batteries while I'm doing all that other stuff. But yeah, for me, doing a couple here and there, if I'm only going to have time to do a couple of trees, I'm running the battery saw. That means, you know, if I only have time to do 2 trees, I'm going to be going somewhere. I don't want to be smelling like a chainsaw, you know, like a gasoline one. In town, definitely go with the battery saw. Sure, you're going to take a while to get the project done, but if you're doing it by yourself, it's really non-issue. You're going to cut up as much as you can on, you know, the 2 batteries. And then you're going to be stacking brush, doing firewood. You could, if you're splitting firewood by hand, split the firewood by hand. And by the time you got all that done, your batteries are probably charged. And you're probably going to want to take a break anyway, so the batteries are going to be charged by the time you're ready to go again if you're not used to that physical work. And the quietness of that battery saw can't be beat. You could hear that. You don't hear no noisy chainsaw. It's not really bothering the neighbors. Right now it's the first opening day of deer season here in Wisconsin. That saw is not going to bother really the hunters at all. You're not going to bother anybody. That's the main thing, is it's quiet. And that's pretty much all I got. So watch the original shootout video and a little bit of bonus footage. First time I drove the van back here, I drove it right where through I just cut that tree. That said was a problem spot, you know, right over there. I had done more off-roading with this van than most people do in their SUVs. Drove down there, drove around the back side of those trees and back to where, you know, where you saw me. So show you what it looks like driving through here. I'm not on road. I can use a handheld device, handheld electronic device. Looks like it might be a little soft, so here we go, a little speed. There we go. Now this would be a beautiful place to have a little snowmobile rally track or something.